What's up, everybody? Had some pretty good action today. Had a good downtrend with two good short opportunities. Good downtrend after an uptrend yesterday. Just kind of mirrored it, really. Yesterday was a solid slow uptrend. Today was a pretty good slow downtrend. Yeah, I mean, almost to the tick. Perfect mirror. All right, to the demand side, yesterday's uptrend, we created a good 3-hour zone, 3-hour demand zone. If it loads. All right, perfect right here. We got a 3-hour zone at 44.17, and we also have a 3-hour zone right here at 43.88 that has held a couple times already. This seems to be the line in the sand. If we break below this, there should be some more blood, but it held today barely. But yeah, so we've had a couple of pretty good balances out of it. Higher low. Here's a lowest touch at 43.75. Had a pretty good higher low here, and reversed up. So those are the two demand zones I'm looking for. This is a good 3-hour zone, so you can see we kind of broke into it today and basically broke it. But before the day, I mean, it looked strong because it's a good 3-hour zone right above another 3-hour zone, and you would think it would have held. Anyway, so those are the two zones on the demand side. On the supply side, we have a 90-minute zone at 44.61 that's rejected once, and we got a tiny little 45-minute supply zone that was created overnight. You got a nice rally base drop, classic supply zone at 44.52, and overnight highs is right above that at 44.55. Overnight lows a little bit before the bell, 44.28, and then this key level here at 44.44 and a half. This is just a key level that has acted as support a couple times and has been acting as resistance lately. Seems to be a level that has shown a lot of interest for bigger, institutional buyers and sellers. All right, let's kick it off. All right, so after rejecting up here, we opened up at 44.40 and had, one of those kind of just bull traps. We've seen this seems quite a bit in the past couple months or the past month where it'll reverse or it'll go up. Good volume, selling's not really present before just pulling the rug, and whoever got trapped here long is either still stuck in here and hurting, or they covered. They sold the positions, which increased the selling pressure. Went up here, got into the supply zone, and hit overnight highs right to the tick, but just didn't give us a good short opportunity. As I always say, we look for lower highs on the 5-minute chart, or at least 5-minute chart. We didn't even get a lower high in the 1-minute chart. So if you're shorting right when they're getting in supply zones, cool, this would have worked for you. But we didn't get the confirmation that we are looking for. Hit this zone, rejected. 1-minute buying. I mean, buying just kind of disappeared. You can see the buying, no buying here. No buying here. But it fell down pretty hard about, from 54, about 30 points in a matter of 15 minutes or less. Came straight down to overnight lows. Quick break before reversing up, and then heavier selling volume came in and dumped at about 20 points in 5 minutes or less, straight to this 44.17 3-hour zone. This is a lot of selling volume, which is interesting. I don't think it was news related, not that I'm aware of, but it was interesting, showing that somebody's dumping. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming multiple parties here, but it's quite a bit of selling volume. That's usually what you see with news. You can see that on the 5-minute chart as well. About 45,000 contracts. Not all selling, but just about. So it came back down into this 3-hour zone. This is actually the first touch out of it. I don't think we tested overnight. Double check. Nope. All right. First touch. We did find some bids. This is what you want to see out of a demand zone, right? You don't want to see it go too far into the zone. You want to see it come up. Ideally, you want to see some more buying pressure and less selling. But we consolidated for about 90 minutes over it. I would like to see it reverse up and break this previous lower high, but it didn't do that. It balanced here for about in a small uptrend for about 90 minutes before the next leg down. Created a little 5-minute zone on this big sell-off, right? We look for anything over. I'm not going to trade anything over or anything less than a 15-minute zone. But this is technically a 5-minute supply zone, and it touched right into it before selling off. Also quickly broke overnight lows before selling off, and then buying just disappearing again. At that point, we're coming back into this demand zone, trying to break the intraday lows, which after about 30 minutes of consolidation here, it did, and then continue down to this demand zone. At this point, it's not getting. I'm not going to invalidate it yet because it hasn't gotten too far into the zone. It's a big zone that goes into 43.84, and especially since we have 4,400 psychological number here that should act as support. But we are getting down deeper into the zone, which I'm not a huge fan of. I should also note, so this is actually where our first play came in. So with this 90-minute consolidation here, we created a 45-minute supply zone that I'm going to go ahead and draw out. All right. So at this point, I'm basically just looking for a short inside this zone. I'm not going long here since sellers are in charge, and especially after this big sell-off. The only way I'm going to go long is if we create new demand inside this old zone and then come back and retest it. I always say that. If we come back and retest that new demand zone, then cool, I'll go long. But until we do, I'm more focused on being short here. I don't want to fight the trend. So we do come back into this 45-minute supply zone and test it. And it's exactly what we wanted to see. Good buying pressure into the zone. Probably got some people stuck. They think it's going to the moon, and sure enough, buying just disappears. Yeah, it tends to be what happened. I mean, it really is crazy how that works. But you get some good buying in here. It looks great, and then all of a sudden, no buyers. I mean, look at this on the 1-minute chart. Less than 1,000 contracts here. You can see that on the 5-minute chart as well. Buying volume is lower than selling volume. At that point, that's exactly what we want to look for. Once we see this low 5-minute buying, we're looking for a quick spike to short into. And I see that present here. After I see the low 5-minute buying, I turn my focus to the 1-minute chart. All right, cool. Let's see a spike and let me see some weakness. And then let's go ahead and short. Once you see it spike, leaving a nice little wick up here, coming back down and breaking new lows, you can go ahead and take your short. So it's below 44.20. Here's your short position. With eyes probably to about 4,400 psychological level. I didn't take my short here only because we were still right above this 44.17 3-hour zone that should be strong. So I wanted to see more confirmation that this zone wasn't going to hold. And we did get that. It came back into the zone, got a low 5-minute buying also at demand. And it's not what you want to see if you're going long. If you see lack of buying in a demand zone, that's definitely a clear sign of weakness, big red flag. So now I'm looking for my spike and my short. So if you're not already in, we did get a second entry here. Come back up, good buying volume, and then once again, buying just disappears. Less than, I don't know, we got about 900 contracts here compared to about 2,700 contracts of selling. And so I got my short right before this big drop here, about 44.17. And with eyes, with profits, profit target of about 4,400. And let's see, so we came back down here, balanced for a little bit here for about 10-15 minutes before, I don't know, about it hit 2 o'clock Central Time, and then the selling volume came in. Right, here we are, boom. More selling than buying. I took my first partials right around here, right when it got close to 4,400. I saw some buying come in here, took it at 44.02, came back down, broke 4,400, and then recovered. A sign of strength there, so I went ahead and took the rest of my partials right at 44.01, 44.02 for about a 15-point short. You could hold, obviously, since usually when these days are selling off or even in an uptrend, when that's the trend, usually that trend does continue. Today's a downtrend, so I figured it should continue towards the end of the day. But towards the end of the day, last 15-30 minutes, selling volume or volume in general just kind of gets a little crazy and unpredictable. So I wanted to go ahead and take my profits while I still had it. But it did end up continuing to sell off. Came back down to about 43.85. Basically broke this 3-hour zone and touched the 43.88 3-hour zone that has already bounced a couple times. So overall, pretty good day. All we need is one good play. We got that good 15-point short. Just a solid downtrend. And I don't know. We'll see if this 3-hour zone holds again. Like I said, it's already bounced a couple times, but it is down here and it's just kind of hanging around. I don't know if we're going to get a good bounce or not, but we'll see what happens during the overnight session, and then we'll go from there. We'll get a new plan going for the open of the next bell, and then get a good recap the next day. And I'll see you guys then.